Let's now get a read on all the themes set to drive markets this week. Pete McGuire from XM joins us now live. Pete, great to have you on a Monday morning as always. But we don't have any central banks on the docket this week, so what have we got to keep us busy?
Well, good morning, Kara. We've got a lot to keep us busy, actually. We've got a flurry of data. We're across Canada, UK, the US as far as inflation. We're 2 weeks out from a German election. I'll tell you what, September's starting to hot up. So you've got the retail sales out on Thursday in the US. That's going to be, I think, a very good indicator as far as economic health. We've also got those inflation stats coming out on Wednesday, and you've got the job numbers on, that's tomorrow. So that's for July. So really giving us a pretty good indication how this month's going to, I think, take on board that information and what chances there are that the Fed might move sooner than later to look at the inflation and how we're going to contain it.
So does that mean that volatility is now here to stay when it comes to those equity markets?
Well, they've had a little bit of a pullback. You mentioned that as far as the 100-day moving average for all the traders out there, and some are new to trading short term, take on board those indicators. They're very, very important. That's how the majority of traders trade. They trade with, the technical indicators. They look at the fundamentals, of course, what we're talking about now, but the more importantly, they look for those short-term changes in direction and what impact they have when they move through moving averages and so on. So I think that traders are also mindful, Kara, that you can trade a market to go down in value, not only to worry about it going up in value. So yeah, a little bit giving back a little bit of those profits down around about 0.8, 0.9 we saw on Saturday morning here with New York close.
So Pete, what's the US dollar play here then?
I would have thought it would have given up a few of those gains, but it's come back, Kara. We're running at around about that 92.65. So that's the US dollar index, primarily weighted against the euro, about 60-odd%. But that's another one traders need to be mindful of if you're new to the currency trading and of course, commodities, what that US dollar is doing. It's the first market that I look at each morning. Where is it? What's happened overnight? And that really gives one a good indication how the day is going to set up from a currency trade. We're trading around about $5.5 to $6 trillion a day. It dwarfs every other market. So that really gives us an indication what happens as far as yen. Where does euro trade over that day? Aussie's given up a best part of a cent, Kara, and I really thought that may have gone the other way, but we're now running at 73.65. I think this time last week we were at about 74.65.
Yeah, so outlook for the Australian dollar, how are you positioned?
Well, you've got to say maybe it's coming under a little bit of pressure if that US dollar continues to stay at these levels and doesn't give any, doesn't take on board some softness. The inflation numbers, I think, is going to be a concern, and that, really, 5.4%, that's for August. That's, I think, quite scary, really. But, that's what the Fed's all about. They're trying to manage those expectations, and the consumer, I know, is getting hit. Property prices are through the roof in US and certainly in Canada and across, Australia. So that really is the impact, and I'm not sure whether the Aussie's just going to, oscillate between that 72 to 74.5. I'm not sure whether we're going to hit a 76 handle anytime soon. It's just a bit of a wait and see.
Pete, how's your gold trade going?
Well, it's given back a few of those gains, Kara. It's 17.90. I would have thought again, US dollar possibly would have come under some softness, but it seems to be US dollars continued that uptick, which in turn's taken a little bit of that heat out of gold. So it's certainly volatile. It's hard to say, well, this is where it's going to be next Monday. It's more to the point, if you're trading day to day, you can see those moves of, $15, $20 some days and sometimes more. So it's over that 24-hour window. It's a marvelous commodity to trade. I was only thinking, Kara, the NYMEX and, in remembrance of 9/11, the NYMEX and the COMEX markets used to be in the World Trade Centers. That's where the futures market was there. I had the good fortune of going there many years back, I think in about 87. But that really demonstrates, gold is a commodity that's been around for a long, long time. Was gold-backed currency still 71. And, we've seen gold move all the way from $35 an ounce in 50 years from 71 to 21 to, the best part of $1,850, $1,900 an ounce. So it just demonstrates, that's what inflation does. And that's what gold is a back of a lot of different, or it fundamentally backs a lot of, I think, sentiment across the globe.
Pete, I know you've always got a keen eye on oil prices. They're up slightly on Friday, up about 2% after a phone call between the US and Chinese leaders. Where do we go from here given this Delta backdrop?
You might see a little bit further uptick, Kara, though it's had a lovely run in the last couple of weeks where, WTI is now just on $70. You've got Brent at 73.22, so possibly you're going to see a little bit further push to the upside. Have a look at shipping prices. I mean, it does come back to the consumer and what they're prepared to pay, but a great part of the world is really hemorrhaging under these high energy costs. Have a look at India, what's happening across Asia, Indonesia and so on, really hitting hard. So maybe there is an inflection point where the pain just becomes too great for consumers. So I think we're entering that sort of target range. I'm not expecting anything really dramatically higher, though if you see something geopolitically that takes us out of that framework, Kara, that can change sentiment instantly.
Exactly. Pete, always great to check in with you on a Monday. Thanks so much for joining us from XM.
Lovely to see you, Kara. Thank you.